Hello everyone, hope you're having a wonderful day, and today guys I'm going to be showing you one of my favorite builds in this game right now. This build glides through Apocalypse difficulty more than a hot knife glides through friggin' butter. It's another explosion build for all you explosion build enjoyers out there. Hopefully I've got another banger for you. So we will be utilizing Archon and the new class Warden to get the most out of our mod and explosion damage. I know what you're probably thinking, why the hell am I not using Summoner? Don't worry, I didn't hit my head before doing this video. There is a good reason why we're not using Summoner and we are taking Warden instead, but we'll get into it in a second. We'll also be using two of the strongest weapons in the game, the Corrupted Aphelion and also the Starshot handgun. So we can nuke our way through Apocalypse difficulty as fast as friggin' possible. So don't worry, we don't really have an issue with damage when it comes to this build. When we let those mods rip, all the enemies and the bosses just get deleted. This build has very solid mod duration. You're always going to be able to spam the Corrupted Aphelion and also the Starshot Big Bang mod as much as possible. There should be no downtime or very little downtime, which is fantastic because this drastically improves our DPS being able to mod spam these two weapons as much as possible. And a bit of a disclaimer, we are finally using a legendary fragment in this setup to improve this overall build, but don't worry, you do not need it. So nobody freak out, everybody stop panicking, calm down. Fuck off, I bet he's probably using a massive damage increase fragment, boys, watch this. It isn't a damage increase, okay? It's not more damage, it is mainly a defensive fragment, which just overall helps this build a little bit better. Well, that actually isn't so bad. So don't get frustrated, get even with this new Corrupted Warden build for Remnant 2. Okay, enough of the intro, let's jump into what we're actually taking with this particular setup. So as always, we're going to talk about the skills first, no surprise here. Like I said in the intro, we're taking Archon and Warden, and for the skills, we are using Chaos Gate, and we are also using Drone Shield. Chaos Gate, you don't really need to use this. You could use Reality Rune for a more defensive option. Chaos Gate just gives us such a big damage increase. It's almost really hard not to take Chaos Gate. And the Drone Shield, pretty self-explanatory. It's just going to apply shield to us and also give us 10% damage reduction, which does help a lot with survivability, especially with the way that we have actually set this build up. So we'll go over the fragment first, since I did say that we did have a legendary fragment. Like I said, it isn't a damage increase. It's not further improving the damage of this build, but it is helping the survivability a fuck ton. And the legendary fragment we have is immovable. This is actually pretty good. I didn't think this would be as good. I'm not sure if I would be able to put any builds together with this. But then I thought about it a little bit longer and I was like, the Aphelion knocks you on your hole all day, every day. Wouldn't it be great if it didn't? Well, immovable stops that completely. So now you can just close range explosive damage. You will still take damage, but you're not going to get knocked on your hole and you have to wait fucking 10 minutes to get up. Pretty much 90% of enemies' moves, if you get hit by them, you will not get staggered. You just tank through it like nothing happened, which can actually be a little bit of a negative because now you don't realize that you're taking damage. There's been plenty of times I think I'm all good. I look down at my health, I got fucking no health left. It's like, well, when did that happen? It's because you don't get knocked around anymore. It is actually a really solid fragment, very, very solid defensive fragment overall. And it works insanely well with the setup that I am running with the Aphelion and also the Starshot Big Bang mod. So you can use it as close as possible and you're not going to get knocked down, which means you can just keep spamming mods for more DPS overall. So just quickly going over the fragment over here, I do have cast speed just to further increase the cast speed of our mods. Status effect damage, we'll get into that in a minute why I am running status effect damage, and just explosive damage increase. And for the Prism, I got mod crit chance, health bonus. We got Sapper, Mage, and Pirate. Pirate not even helping in this situation. Sapper, Mage, and obviously mod crit chance, even health bonus are very, very nice to have. So now that we're done talking about the legendary fragment, we'll go over to like the gear that we are taking. For the armor, I got True Crimson Crown. This is going to help negate some of the fire damage when we are close range, just spamming explosive mods into the enemy. We got the Red Widow body armor, we got the Red Widow legs, and then we've also got Crimson Guard Gauntlet. I'm mainly only wearing this because it looks cool. That's basically, you probably get a little bit more armor, 3 points strong back, but it isn't really needed. For the weapons, we have the Corrupted Aphelion. I've done, I think, maybe 1 or 2 builds with the Corrupted Aphelion. I really, really like this weapon. It wasn't really performing that well at the start of Season 3, but now that they have fixed mod power generation, it's back to being an absolute friggin' beast. I love this weapon. It is just so strong. And the main reason it's so strong is because of the mod Micro Nova. You're gonna shoot out 5 like little fire orbs. If you hit them with the primary fire, they explode, dealing even more damage. And that is the main way we want to use the Corrupted Felon. You want to shoot the mod out, and you want to try and shoot them with the primary fire to do the most amount of damage and plus get a bigger explosion and AoE radius. And then one of the best features now is when you do hit your orbs with the primary fire, you generate 1 ammo, so you never run out of ammo as long as you keep firing the mod and shooting it, which is actually very strong. We are running the feedback mutator, obvious reasons. This is just going to help give the Corrupted Aphelion its mod back faster through mod damage, which is great. For the melee weapon, I've got the Huntress Spear. The main reason we've got Huntress Spear is for that corrosive dot. We have no other way to apply corrosive dot besides the Huntress Spear. And if you do not know, the main reason we want to apply that corrosion dot is because it gives us 10% damage increase to all of our damage. Very, very strong status effect. I have put Volatile Strike here just to give us more explosive damage. Don't really need this because if you throw your melee weapon with Energized Netcoil, you're going to get an explosion, but now you get like a double explosion. So your melee weapon is actually quite strong with this setup. So that is why I've got the Huntress Spear. You could run Krellax and put Tainted Blade on Mutator if you really wanted to. Krellax, I think, does throw a little bit quicker. But just to, you know, open up different mutator options, I went with the Huntress Spear. Not that I tested it, but you could also go Stormbringer. So when you do throw the melee at the enemies, you're going to lower their resistance to status effect, therefore giving you 10% increase to all your status effect damage, which that might actually work in this setup as well. But I just went Volatile Strike just for more explosive damage. And then the other star of the show, everybody's favorite, the Star Shot. This thing has been always been an absolute beast throughout the whole entire lifespan of Remnant, and it doesn't change today. This weapon's probably gotten even stronger with DLC 3 with all the new legendary fragments that are getting added in. And you always want to open up with Starshot on the enemy, especially using Big Bang Mod, because Big Bang Mod with Energized Netcoil hits like a truck. It does so much damage. It does about 10,000-12,000 damage in one mod shot, which is some pretty respectable damage, up there with some of the best, I think. Absolutely insane. The mod has always been strong. It hasn't changed. I've got the failsafe mutator here. This is going to give our mod 25% additional damage, and then also gives, at level 10, it also gives our mods a 15% chance to not consume their charge. We have 5 charges, so if my math is correct, we have a 75% chance to not consume a charge. So that is very high chance that we're at least going to get 1 charge back on a full 5 charge mod shot from Big Bang. So that is pretty good. It helps, you know, keep your mods ticking over so you can keep spamming both Big Bang and also Micronova. That's pretty much it for the weapons. Self-explanatory. I think we all know how these weapons work. They've been in the game since day one. Now moving on over to the amulets and the rings, aka the meat and potatoes of this setup. There's nothing new here, so I'm obviously not going to sit here and explain it for like 20 minutes and bore the shit out of you guys. But we do have the Energized Netcoil. We all know what this does. It is such a strong amulet. I actually would think this might be one of the strongest amulets in the game. It is so good. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, why are you not running detonation trigger, or why are you not running something like echo chamber? Funny enough, Energized Netcoil outputs way more DPS. Well, I say way more, probably like 200, 300 more DPS, which is actually pretty substantial. And I think mainly it's just the explosions that come from Big Bang and the Micronova with Energized Netcoil that is just giving that extra bit of damage. But either way, very, very strong amulet. I always say this, if you haven't tried this amulet, you friggin' need to. It is ridiculous. We have Burden to Destroy, a nice 15% increase to all our damage, which does help with Energized Netcoil's damage output. We got Stone of Malevolence. This is so we can get our mod power back through elemental damage. We have Shadow of Misery, which gives us status effect damage, a 20% increase. And then also Timekeeper's Jewel, which you kind of need with Energized Netcoil, as well as maxing out Affliction to get the most amount of damage out of Energized Netcoil. So that is why we have Timekeeper. And then we have Shadow of Misery, because this also increases our status effect damage, which again does help with Energized Netcoil. So that's pretty much it for the setup. I mean, you do have a couple of options with switching out Shadow of Misery. You could go Burden of the Gambler just to get more crit chance and crit damage. And then I did recently just have the Singe Ring on over Shadow of Misery because I didn't think it would increase the damage by that much. But then I tested again and Shadow of Misery does pull out ahead just by a little bit. So Really up to you. You could run Singe Ring, or you could run Shadow of Misery, especially if you want to get the most out of your energized net coil damage. Now, ideally, you could use Summoner, and I'll explain why we're not using Summoner for this particular setup. So when you are warded by the drone, you get 1 stack of Bulwark. And why we have Bulwark, because of Immovable, we cannot be staggered, and not being staggered means that we can spam Micro Nova and Big Bang up close and personal without worrying about getting blown 20 meters away. That is a massive W. So the drone giving us that Bulwark is huge, and when I first started testing this out, I didn't think this was going to work because I thought we would blow our drone up. Well, funny enough, and I don't know if it's a bug or not, but you cannot kill the drone. You can blow this mother trucker to smithereens and he will just keep on trucking. The little drone does not give a fuck whatsoever. You can have 1, 2, 3, 5 dots on him, cooking like crazy, and he will just push through it, dust it off, ready to go again. Just quickly going over the traits, I've maxed out Affliction, maxed out Fortify, maxed out Kinship. You're definitely going to need to max out Kinship. You don't want to blow yourself up all the time. We might not get staggered, but we still take damage. Remember that. We do have 3 points into Strong Back. We've got 8 additional points into Vigor. We got 7 additional points into Endurance. I've got 7 additional points into Spirit. I've got 8 points into Amplitude. You could max this out if you wanted to. Just take another 2 points out somewhere else. Maxed out Siphoner, and I've put the 2 points into Insight, but like I said, you probably take 2 points out of here and put them into Amplitude. I mean, I'm not sure how much Insight's actually helping. I was just testing some stuff out, but yeah, maybe you'd want to put those 2 points in Amplitude. It'd be better off. And then it's not needed, but definitely makes this build flow a little bit better, is the concoction, the bottled Shadeberry. This is going to increase our mod power generation by 10%. Again, you don't need this, but it does definitely help, just, you know, always spamming those mods consistently. And that's pretty much it for the build video, guys. Hopefully this build did help you out. This was a lot of fun to put together. I did not think this was going to work as well as it did. I didn't think energized netcoil could be used with Aphelion and also the Starshot handgun. It can, and it works fantastically well. It does so much friggin' damage. There's plenty of instances I've had where I've just one-shotted aberrations that didn't have elemental resistance with the Big Bang mod. Absolutely ridiculous damage. It's ridiculous. Funny enough, I have another Warden build that I am going to be releasing very, very soon. It is a range gun damage build, which is something that I definitely don't do very often, but that build absolutely slaps, and I can't wait to show that one off for you guys as well. Appreciate all love and support as always, and until next time, stay safe. Peace out.